Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 19 of the Get Hitched live wedding chat show. My name is Alberta. As always, thank you, everyone, for coming in and tuning into the show. Today, we're going to have a special guest. Her name is Allison. She is from Sweetlights Candles, and she is the creator and owner of the company. We'd like to discuss today's souvenirs, wedding favors, gifts, anything that's related to weddings, and also used for other events, personal and even corporate events. She's a great lady, so I look forward to this show. I'm just going to invite her in. Hi, Alison.
Hi, Alberta.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
I'm great. Thank you. First off, I'd like to tell you thank you very much for accepting and joining into the show for us
Thank
today.
you.
This is actually the first show on Get Hitched where we're going to be talking about souvenirs, gifts, wedding favors, anything with relation to weddings and events. So it's an exciting one. I know you've had a busy day today, so I hope everything has calmed down
Calm
a
down a
little.
bit. Yes, it did.
Very good, very good. Just to point out for everyone, if anybody has any questions during the show or any feedback, please do come in and we'll be able to answer your questions from the comments. First off, I'd like you, Alison, to explain a bit who you are and how you came about to starting your business.
Okay, I'm Allison. It all started in 2016. From 12 years of profession of being a tattooist and a piercer. My
Really?
life,
Okay.
yes. So it's
Good.
always being creative, drawing and everything. So my life faltered on the 8th of May 2016. I had a miscarriage, which I was on my 3rd month.
Okay.
It was the hardest day ever,
Of
still
course, I can
till
imagine.
this very day. Stopped going to work, blaming myself for everything. So I wanted to turn my life around a bit. So I started to focus on what I love doing the most, which is being creative, basically. And that's how my venture started. My new kind of baby, my new sweet baby, which gave me light and guidance. So that's where Sweetlights came from.
Amazing. So you literally
Yes,
turned something around, created it positive, and gave you motivation to push on, and create a
exactly.
focus for yourself. Because
And seeing my baby grow step by step.
of course. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that can relate to the situation that you've gone through. I
It's hard.
apologize that you've had
It's
to go
hard.
through it. But it's amazing what you've done, what you've accomplished in just 4 years. Even just the difference and the creativity in your work, it's quite unique. Um,
Uh-huh.
is there a particular reason you chose to go into the candle business?
No, basically, it's like you can create whatever you want. Sometimes it reflects even my moods, what I'm going through.
Okay.
Um, Basically, it's my therapy. That's what I call it. It's my
Wow.
therapy.
Wow. And today you are doing with large quantities. I mean, you're doing these as souvenirs for
Uh,
couples. I mean,
Weddings.
very good, very good. This is something very interesting. I know it is actually in your biography, but it's amazing for a person to be able to come out and say such an experience and turn everything around and take it into a positivity. So well done on that, Alison.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you've already tapped into a little bit with the creativity
Mhm.
and what exactly you do, but how did you develop it? Like, how did you venture into even starting with tattoos and piercing?
Well, my husband and his father are the ones that they started tattoos in Malta. So
Okay,
it was, and drawing, it was always in my life and art.
okay,
And even if a customer used to come in, I didn't want them to just print something out and do a tattoo. I used to try and draw it up for them, make it a bit with a twist in it, even the calligraphy and everything. So
cool, cool. And then you ventured into the candle business.
yeah,
And where do you get your creativity and the ideas from
the
with this?
ideas is I don't know how to explain this, but I keep on thinking. If I create a candle, it's not just on the day. It will be there months, days, depends. Like Christmas, I start early trying to come up with ideas. It's not because it's in my head. I try to get it out. It's not easy at all. One thing. And then when it's picturing one thing and then do it on a candle, it's another thing.
Yeah.
Depends on the colors, on the scheme, on everything. So it takes me about, let's say, if I have a picture in my mind and a sketch that is ready, 2 weeks, 3 weeks until I get the product out.
Cool, cool. I've seen like I've seen candles, and I've seen a lot of people like to play around and do different colors and everything. But what you are working on is very, very unique. Like you have shapes; they literally look like sweets. I actually thought they
Yes.
were sweets. I needed to look in
In
and
fact, each
see.
product has to be labeled non-edible from the on the candle itself, on the packaging. Yes. I try to be as much as close to the real thing, even if it's just a simple flower.
Okay. What is the most creative souvenir or item or product that you've had to do for a wedding, for example? The one that stands
Um,
out the most?
well, all of them, they stand out. I tell you why. Because every wedding, as it's unique itself, I try to do the wedding, one wedding different than the other for sure.
Okay.
So the fun part is that each candle can be uniquely designed, created by team, their own color, embellishment, scents. I try to get a full description of their characteristics, their personality, what they like, and then I come up with something. I do a sample for them, and they make them choose. I had weddings that they wanted them to be like chocolates, various chocolate scented candles. They look like desserts. Another one was in summer. Yes. So it was a summer wedding on the beach. And I came up with the idea that like summer cocktails, all of them.
Okay.
Yes.
For sure. Not drinkable.
Exactly.
Sorry.
And the thing is that they all have their respective scent. So
Okay.
it's like a pina colada. It's got the pina colada scent.
Oh, very cool. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know
Yes.
that. So same with the chocolate, that would have a chocolate scent, and I imagine so a person comes and listen, Alison, we want you to do our souvenirs. You're going to meet up with us or them,
Hmm.
and you're going to start a whole process where you're evaluating, understanding a bit the wedding, what they like, what they dislike, and start building to get this together, even with scents. I'm
Uh-huh.
sure you have many different scents.
Over 170.
Wow. So how do you manage to filter that down? Or does one get overwhelmed at points when they look
It
at all the
does.
scents?
It does. Basically, I help them out. Like, first is the design of the candle. The scent, I leave it to the last minute, which is, let's say we're going into chocolates. There is about 20, I'm not mistaken, or more different ones. Um,
20 different chocolate scents alone?
yes.
Okay. It's heaven.
um, it is.
Do you
It
have
is.
edible chocolate as well while you're smelling the
I have a few treats around, yes, on the table, so it's like to satisfy the, you know. Um, uh, Basically, we start by designing. Let's put it that way. If it's chocolate, you have to go in like chocolate and mint chocolate, or in chocolate, and we start creating. But when it's like a wedding that it's more related to, like with flowers or wedding bands, we're not going to choose chocolates for those or strawberry. I recommend mostly it's like a flowery, nice flowery scent, or we
Okay.
go to the basics, which is like a vanilla or coconut. Depends on the client,
What
what
they're
will
looking for and what
exactly.
really I think hits that need that they say, ah, wow, okay. Because at the end of the day, that smell is going to create a memory for them. This is something that I really focus on. When you're creating a memory in a wedding, there's that one point, like for example, using a souvenir that smells of vanilla. Going forward, any guest that smells that scent will always have the memory of the wedding
Uh-huh,
that they attended. So there's always
exactly.
that memory point, and I love that. That's why I love the concept of having candles and scented items as wedding gifts. There's many different things. Um, And in fact, I did want to go in and ask you because there's a lot of different things that you can actually prepare for a
Hmm.
person, not just the standard candle and not just on souvenirs,
Hmm.
right? So, can you explain a bit? So, for example, okay, with weddings, you can set up souvenirs, and are there any particular handmade products that you can focus on with wedding souvenirs, favors?
Favors, we've got various ones. Mostly I go like, it depends on the budget of the couple as well. So
Okay,
I've got a various range that it accommodates every client. And then we start from there. And then sometimes it just goes from one small item, it goes to something different. And then I say, listen, I know this is your budget. Let me create something else. So then it
okay.
comes in, yes.
All right, okay, that's great. It's nice to see when suppliers take it on because I think I've never gotten married, so I have no idea what the wedding process is personally. But I've spoken, I think, to hundreds of couples that have been planning their weddings, and it is a lot. You're
It
going
is a
in.
lot. And they've got a lot of pressure, a lot.
Exactly,
So I
exactly.
try to calm them down. It's like, leave it to me, but please tell me. Mostly it's what you don't like, even with the
Yes.
colors. I don't know how many colors. The Pantone is various. So that's how I start. It's like, tell me what you don't like. Then they come over, I show them different colors, different styles, and they pick what they like. Once they pick up, let's say, flowers, let's put it flowers, um, uh, I can guide them more. It won't be flowers on their own. Sometimes I just do another embellishment with it. So it stands out even more.
Okay. Yes. All right. And do you recommend when you meet up with couples, do they come both together, or is it more the female side that tends to come for the first meeting?
Um, Sometimes it's both, sometimes it's on their own. I cannot say. But
Okay.
usually it's like they come in lost. They come like, I have this wedding, my color scheme is this one, I've got these invitations, so they try to compare with the invitations as well. I had like a wedding that had the damask print on them and
Okay.
rhinestones, so I
Okay.
incorporated my souvenirs with damask and rhinestones.
Cool. Cool.
Yes.
And then just on, so for example, with souvenirs, would there be like the top three products that are in trend right now?
There's no trend, no. There's no trend
Okay.
at the moment because it depends on the couple.
Okay. Okay. And then just I do like to ask a lot of questions. I did
Yes,
mention
yes,
to
go
this
on.
before. But I know it's not just focused solely on the wedding souvenirs. For example, the bride can prepare a nice gift for her bridal team, even coming to ask her bridal team to be like her maid of honor and her
Hmm.
bridesmaids and
Yes.
everything. Yes. Are there any cool things that you've prepared
Um, yes, in fact, I left a
in
candle
the
on the
past?
side because I know that it's like a hit at the moment. It's basically you just build your own candle. That's how I call it myself. Build your own candle, and then you have like, will you be my bridesmaid on top? Choosing the colors,
Okay.
and I don't know if it's
Oh
showing
wow.
enough.
Actually, I'm going to actually do this. So nice one. Okay. I wanted to do like that so that you will be able to zoom in so the people could see. Sorry. It's the
This
first
is
time we're
one
showing
of
a
the
few products.
sellers. It's the one that they really love. So I had one handy.
Cool, cool. No, no, that's great. That's great. Thank you very much. And even like for example, to the mothers, like there's a tendency, like when you want to ask certain people to take certain positions. I mean, you always want to give a token of appreciation for all the work. Like even our mothers and our parents, they do a lot
Uh-huh.
for
In
us.
fact, when they do a wedding order, usually they end up like, what am I going to give to the parents and the mother-in-law? And it's like they don't want the simple candle in a normal glass. I've got the options as well in a crystal glass. So the
Okay.
glass itself, it's real crystal.
All right.
Um,
Okay. All right. And then just so that we don't focus solely on weddings, because your business is much larger than that,
mhm.
you also do all the items with holy communions, baptisms, baby
Baptism,
showers,
mhm.
birthday parties.
Christmas,
Okay.
everything. Easter, anything.
Amazing. And like with Christmas, and it's always like the similar. So there's always the candle and there's always the handmade, but then you can be really creative and adapt to each different event, which I think is really fun for you as well, because you're not always doing the same thing.
Exactly. And the other thing, which is more frustrating knowing me, everybody around me, especially my family, is when I try to get what I have in my mind to get it out. That's leave Allison alone and don't bother to talk because it's really, really frustrating for me.
I can imagine. I can imagine. I do want to show a bit, and perhaps you could explain now for
Hmm.
our viewers. Just a second. So we have these images here,
Hmm.
and perhaps you could explain a bit for our viewers what we are seeing right now.
Okay, the bottom ones on the left-hand side, which are green, those are chocolate mint scented candles
Okay.
with a small chocolate on top. So the ones in the middle at the bottom, it's lemon meringue. So
Okay.
when you smell them, it's like the actual thing. The ones on top are cherry pies,
Okay.
um, chocolate and orange on the right hand side on the top, and the bottom ones are Oreo scented candles
Oh,
with an
wow.
Oreo on top.
Amazing. There's this whole, a lot of people seem to love that Oreo, I
Hmm.
think, right?
Yes.
And then we do have more actually here. I want to put these in as well.
Okay. Those are mostly it's what I create. So those are from my mind, getting them onto a candle. It's more artistic.
I love
Um,
these. These are the ones I absolutely thought were, they're literally as if they are the desserts of the wedding when they're handing them out.
in fact, that was the target for that wedding. She wanted elegant, no symbol of chocolates on top, but chocolates. So, yes, those took me about, let's put it that way, about a month to get all the ideas out. You have to
Okay.
match the colors, you have to do a range of 5 different ones.
Okay. And so I can imagine that this does take a bit of time for you. Do you recommend couples come X amount of time before, or not even just couples, people before the event? Is there at least a minimum time frame you need?
Yes, and some, especially if it's a summer wedding, you have to keep in mind there is a lot of occasions going around, and it's only me who does the candles. I only have a pair of hands,
Really?
so
Okay.
yes, everything is on my own. So yes, I do recommend, uh, let's say 6 months ahead
Very
at
good.
least.
Very good. Because I like you're going to first meet with them, then design a concept, then meet with them again.
Uh
There's
huh.
going to be things they like, things they don't like. Perhaps they can't decide. Perhaps I want to show my mother, or
Yeah.
I
At
can
least we
only
have three
imagine.
appointments before the final
Okay.
decision. Yes.
Okay. And you start then production X amount how long before?
The wedding, if
Yeah.
Mela, I always calculate before. So if it's a wedding, let's say it's in March, by January, February, the wedding needs to be ready.
Okay. All
So
right.
just in case something comes up, which is on my side, I always have to safeguard myself, and especially the wedding. It's a huge occasion.
Of
Well,
course.
anything. That's how I calculate my orders.
Of
They need
course.
to
Of
be ready
course.
beforehand.
That's very good to know because, like, we see people. I see people booking their weddings like within 6 to 8 months. I see other people in a few years. But I guess the earlier you are to start the preparation, like if I have a color scheme, my venue, and my catering done, I can start and fine tuning and creating all these different touch points and design elements for the whole
Hmm.
wedding. Especially with now that we are seeing that weddings are transitioning into sit down. So Weddings
Yes.
have become more elaborate.
In
It's
fact,
nice. Yeah.
I had a weddings that they were supposed to be March, April, and they had been postponed to next year. So there was the panic from the couple, which I don't blame them. Everything was ready to for pickup as well, the souvenirs, and everything was stopped.
Of
So
course. Of course. How has, before even we go into the next question, how has 2020 been for you personally and business wise?
um, let's put it this way: crazy. I want to eliminate 2020.
I know.
I try to support as much as I can. Um, Especially weddings, even holy communions and confirmation, they were all postponed, and all of a sudden, like,
And
everybody's phoning up, I need them by 2 weeks time. So
yes,
I had to do whatever I can to do them for them.
of
So
course.
yes.
I understand that completely because actually my son had his Holy Communion this year. And first, of course, we just found out about 3 months or 2 months before that this month it's not going to happen.
Hmm.
And then within 3 weeks, we were given a new date.
Exactly.
Just,
I had orders ready, and they were all like with with the tags on the, like the ones that I showed you with the bridesmaids. It's like Holy Communion instead, and with the
exactly.
date,
Yes.
and they were done.
So you
So
had to change
once
all the dates.
it's not change all the dates, I cannot use those candles. That's all incorporated together. So I couldn't use those candles.
Oh.
I had to do everything from scratch.
Of course, okay. I know what you mean. I actually saw the photos in your Facebook page. I do urge everyone, like if you're looking for anything in relation to what Alison can offer, she has a lot of photos on her Get Hitched profile and on her on her Facebook page. So you'll be able to see all the different options and even exactly what she's talking about right now. Because I saw like glasses, and then
Hmm.
there'd be like this white
A
candle.
personalized plaque, yes,
Uh-huh.
exactly. And then you have either the name and the date. There were most of them with the dates. So I came up with the conclusion that yes, I can do candles for you, but as it's going, like postponing the dates constantly, I decided no dates on top. But
Okay.
I must say, they were all like, no problem, we go ahead. So yeah, most of my clients, they all ended up like friends. So I cannot complain.
That's
Not
great
at
to
all.
hear. And how is now 2021 for you? Are you still taking in orders? Is it a bit already overwhelming for you?
And no, I have orders for weddings because most of the weddings of this year were postponed to next year. Then we
Yes.
have the new ones as well. But everything is a question mark at the moment because even the couples themselves, they don't know if it's like we're going to have a sit down meal, how many are going to be. It's like, so we just book the dates and leave it as it is. So their
Yes.
date is booked, they're safe, and we leave it there.
Yes, I've actually been talking to a few suppliers today, various from videography to wedding planning and different categories. Um, and from the weddings that they've already serviced just in this
Mhm.
last month, they have been amazing. So just in case any viewers are watching and you're sort of perhaps uncertain or anything, the vibe that these suppliers have told me is that the weddings are even more beautiful in the sit down environment because they're more elaborate. And certain suppliers, even such as yourself, you can be even more creative because you can even go into setting up perhaps design elements even for on the table.
Yes, in fact, that's what I had, and I agree completely with you. The weddings, there was like a bad vibe going on. That is not going to be a lovely wedding, but we managed to change from a 300 guest wedding. They minimized it to, I'm not sure if it was 40. I'm
Okay.
not sure. We made them all cups and saucers on the
Okay.
table. So the setup itself, you've got the souvenir on the table, and they were all personalized, like to my auntie, and from the couple's initials. So it was something innovative as well.
Yes. And the souvenir is actually decorating your table setup.
Uh-huh.
I've also seen, because I have been looking around and I've been trying to see different ideas for couples, especially since it is not really a Maltese tradition that we go for a seated wedding. But I've been seeing, for example, beautiful setups with, for example, elaborate candle setups as a centerpiece in the
Mhm.
tables, on the entry points, because perhaps some people haven't thought of it, but when you're setting up a seated wedding, you're going into having a guest list. So you have this beautiful setup on entry with a board. You can have candles set up. You can have different elements set up. Then you have the whole stationery on the table. Again, the souvenir as a candle can create a whole element, and it's like a design point on the setup. So it's a cost effective solution to actually give out what they need, and save a bit on cash slightly, because at the end of the day a sit down wedding might cost slightly more, especially when it's like a 3 meal course, some even
Mhm.
7 meal courses, and so on. um, I do want to put up two comments you have here. We have here from Lisa Lomax, who said wonderful products. So thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much.
And we actually have another comment from her here. Dear Alison, is it possible to order just few items? What's the minimum number of items to order?
You can order even one candle. I cater for any occasion and even just one candle, so no problem at all.
Super, super. Thank you very much, Lisa, for that comment. I did want to ask you as well, with everything that has been happening, have you transitioned effectively into like meeting people online, at least even just for the first meeting to continue with the whole process?
Yes, usually it's online, which is the best thing to do. Then it was when we were on lockdown, basically everything was shut, so just online. Now we're starting back, trying to keep always our distance, but still we meet up. But we try to minimize it with all the questions, all that there is need to be discussed with on the day.
Amazing. And at the end of the day, everyone's saving a lot of drive time and hassle. It's hot outside, to find parking and all this. So it's an effective way, to have it online, even just for you to go around between different appointments and everything.
Right, exactly. So it's everything online. It's the best thing.
It's amazing. No, I'm all for it. The last few months I've been doing everything online. It's been super comfortable with everyone. You still get exactly what you need to do. So I'm all for it, definitely. The next question we had in the agenda, I think you've actually already answered this for me. Do you manage to do this all alone without any helpers?
Yes, everything is on my own. Sometimes my mom comes to help me though.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mom. We'll give a big shout out to her. Is she watching the show today?
I think so.
Cool.
Yes.
So, hi.
Hello. She's my pillar. Well, my husband and my son as well, let's put it that way.
Of course, of course. We met briefly as her IT department as well.
Yes.
So going on to the next topic, difficulties that you have to face when you started your business. This is actually, I think, a very good question that a lot of people sort of like, you're going into a business, but there's a lot of difficulties and challenges that one
Mhm.
can come out. Did you find any difficulties when you started,
Um,
or any
yeah, not
challenges?
exactly when I started. It was last year. Um, they stopped me from doing all these candles
Okay.
because they were saying that they are hazardous goods for the kids, that they can eat them. But you have to keep in mind that I do not sell anything to kids. They are adult products. First of all, a candle, you don't give it away to a kid,
Right.
not even a 12-year-old for their room. It's with the parents' guidance. Um, they closed me down.
Okay.
Yes, and I just surrendered straight away because I took it so personally. You have to keep in mind that Sweetlights is my baby, so
Yes.
I was straight away hurt. I stopped everything, closed my page down, and then I had started having feedback from my clients themselves. The mobile didn't stop. My Facebook comments overwhelmed. They told me not to give up. You need to put your feet down and start going. So, yes, I had to go to a lawyer to try and help me out to get out of this solution, to this from this situation. He did help me out. And well, I'm still here. And I must say,
Very good.
I thank him with all my heart. It was like a small bump, let's put it that way.
Yes,
And
yes. But sometimes these small challenges really come out and show you all the positives that are around you because everyone actually supported you and pushed you to
yes,
continue going. So you
and
really
as
knew
I
who
always
those
say,
people are.
my clients, they're not only my clients, though it's them who made me grow step by step. Since I first opened my page, it was like 5 likes, it kept on going up, orders. They go, I leave it to you, you leave it to me. In the beginning, it's like, no, you have to tell me. And no, I thank them with all my heart. They're all my friends, all of them.
For sure. Um, we are actually going down to the last two questions that we had on the agenda.
Mhm.
Again, I'm going to point out to anyone in case they have any questions, as Lisa did, you're more than welcome to come in and put your questions, and Alison will be able to answer them for you. The next topic is coming up. How do you explain why many buyers underestimate the handmade item? This is, I think, another good one. I don't know if you want to go into it.
Um, Basically, it's a bit different. Let's put it that way. I start by asking their budget. So they tell you what their budget is. And I start creating from there. But if it's not in their budget, I tell them nicely, like, that's my starting price. And we go from there. It's not underestimating, let's put it that way. It's more likely they have pressure on themselves. They've got loads of things going on, and automatically they go like, do you have anything cheaper? You don't take it the wrong way. It's their budget. So me, I just don't take it personally. I just go, listen, that's my price. Tell me where your line is, or up to when, to where, and we go from there.
What is your recommended starting point on the budget?
My starting price is 175
Okay. That it's quite doable.
for
I think
weddings.
it's yes.
Yes.
And of course, does that like if they increase in quantity, let's say you have a 700 person wedding, does that then affect the starting price as well for them?
Depends on which product it is, yes. But usually I ask them what how many guests they're going to have. It's like 100, it's one thing, and then the price
Of
depends.
course, because if they have 100 guests, you're going to have 50 souvenirs. They have
Exactly, half
200,
the
they're going
amount.
to have 150. Something that I
Mhm.
actually learned recently, even though I've been in Get Hitched for 3 years, it actually clicked recently. So I'm sure it's the same for couples that are planning their weddings.
Yeah, it's the most common question. I have 300 guests, I need 300 souvenirs. And I go, no, you need half the amount or a little bit extra, but not 300.
Have you ever even been asked perhaps to create something personal, even for the bride or the groom themselves?
I did. It's like a reminder of their wedding with their date. And sometimes you have as well incorporated like their first date.
Okay.
Like once I had the model of the car that needed to be on top, especially on this candle. So it was like a reminder. Yes. And
Yeah,
their
how
date.
cool.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So there's a lot of different elements that they can actually put your product in, not just for the souvenirs. Because even though we're doing the show on Getish and I wanted to focus on souvenirs, I do want people to know all the different options that they can have for you. Like, for example, Christmas with you, it's the busiest time, as you told me when we spoke on
Hmm.
Monday.
It is.
And you range from a lot of different items, right? For people with Christmas. I know it's coming up. Maybe you want to mention a few items for people while they're
Last
showing.
year I had like mince pies, the Maltese tradition cannoli. Yes, I try to, and in Easter I had the minifigolli as well.
Can you start making these edible as well? Or they'd be like a souvenir with the actual edible item. You'd have the non-edible
Imagine
and the
that.
edible.
Yes, when you smell it and you don't, it's like not doesn't make you feel guilty when you're eating it, and then you have the real thing as well going on.
Exactly. Exactly. Super. Thank you very much for answering all of my questions.
Thank you for having me.
The last question I have for you today is what your future plans are as personally, business development wise for Sweetlights Candles?
I take it day by day. I
Yes.
just take it day by day and we see how we go.
Yes. Okay. I think we've covered all the points and we're spot on time with the show, which is amazing. Um, I want to thank you very much for being on the show because I know even today you had quite a hectic day and we only spoke early afternoon. So I do appreciate you taking the time out. I do enjoy when viewers get to see different suppliers, especially when they are set in areas that we haven't yet hit, because people will come up with different questions. I don't know if you have any final words for our viewers today.
If they have any questions, just ask me. That's it. And thank you.
And I do want to point out again for Allison, you can contact her on her Facebook page. She has a lot of photos of her products and the service basically on Facebook. She also has a profile on Get Hitched, so you can just write it on Google and you will find it over there. You can also find her on Get Hitched. You can contact her through mobile. So there's a lot of mediums that you can get in touch to go ahead and get that first meeting rolling to see if you can work together, if she can make something creatively beautiful that you'd say, wow, this is it. And I need her to work for my wedding or whatever I'm planning. I'm going to tell you thank you for the last time. Alison, it's been great to
Thank
have you on the show. I'm going to remove you from the stream now. There you have it, guys. Alison from Sweetlights Candles. She's a very sweet lady, a very beautiful story, actually, how she started the business. And I find it quite unique, especially because perhaps a lot of people can do candles and a lot of people can do different products, but her product creates a memory as well for you and is something unique. Because basically, if you have any idea in mind, I'm sure if you go to Alison, she'll be able to figure something out creatively and actually give you what you're looking for. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. As always, thank you very much for tuning in. As always, put in your comments if you have any questions or anything, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. See you. Bye bye.